Hi everyone, I thought I'd share a bonus video with you this week because summer's coming to an end and I've been meaning to show you how I make my homemade pesto using some of this basil that I have growing in my garden. I had quite a few things die on me in the month of August because the heat is so intense here, but basil, for whatever reason, really does well here and in fact grows for me year round. I'm going to clip quite a bit right now to make this pesto, and when I come back out here next week, it will have all grown back. So I'm constantly coming out here and clipping some. So this seems like a lot, but it's only going to make just a little jar of pesto. So let's go ahead and go on in. There are a couple things you should know about making pesto. One is that you never wash your basil, because if you do, you end up washing away a lot of that wonderful flavor. So hopefully you have it growing in some raised garden beds where the cats and dogs don't get to it, because I know what my Miley does to every bush that she encounters. Now, the other thing is that there are no exact measurements when it comes to making pesto. It's very much something that you make by feel. So hopefully you can watch, see more or less how much of everything I put in, and you'll be able to make this yourself. So first thing I'm going to do is remove the leaves. We're leaving the stems out and just putting the good leaves into my food processor. By the way, I have shared my pesto recipe before. It was one of the very first recipes that I shared when I first launched this channel. But at the time, I shot it myself on my cell phone, and I did such a terrible job. I'm embarrassed when I go back and look at it. So I've been wanting to, for the longest time, reshoot it and do a better job now that my husband is behind the camera and does such a great job. And also, you know, pesto is just something that I cook a lot with. It's really important to me. And if you're following my recipes, I want to make sure that you know how to make this. Okay, that should be good right there. Now I'm going to add 2 garlic cloves. These are really big. Usually I would add 3, but 2 should be plenty. And I'm sure my food processor would break this up. I just feel better about mincing it myself for whatever reason. Making sure that it's broken down. Now I'm going to add some Parmesan cheese and some pine nuts. Now normally I would add more than this, but this is all I had left. But I probably would put even like 3 times as much. And now I'll go ahead and add some extra virgin olive oil. You want plenty of this. I'll start with that, and I may add more later. And I'm using kosher salt, probably about a teaspoon, and pepper. I guess you don't need to see me doing all this. If I had it all measured out beforehand, I may still add more later. And that should be good. Now, the puree. Push the sides down, make sure they get mashed up. But this smells so good. I wish you could smell it. It's gotta be one of my favorite things. Okay, now I am just gonna look at the consistency and see if I need to add more oil or anything. That looks pretty fantastic. I think it's actually good. I'm gonna taste it, see if it needs salt or anything. What I may do is add a little more cheese to make up for the fact that I didn't have as many pine nuts today, so. Okay, and the final thing is some fresh lemon juice. And you want it to be fresh. This acts as a preservative. And that's it. It looks beautiful, it smells amazing. And the taste is just out of this world. So I'm gonna go ahead and transfer this into my little jar. And it's so crazy when you think of that big mountain of basil that I had earlier and how basically it just makes one little jar of pesto. So now you know why it's so expensive when you buy it at the grocery store. That filled up the jar and it left just enough for me to taste here. I'm gonna go grab a cracker and eat this, but I really hope you try this. Pesto is just fantastic. It goes wonderful on any kind of pasta. I especially love it on chicken, and pretty much this is all I use for my seasoning when I cook chicken, but it just goes great on any number of dishes. So you definitely gotta try this.